Paris, America, studying or wishing they weren't, always so far from familiar, one way or another. Being child of colonial hands means always far from something, one way or another. And that's all. Thanks so much for your time. I love you, Mama. Bye.
I think when her mom was naming her, they gave her the right name, Victory, because this was a victorious showcase that was there. We have more for you, as you can tell. Once again, this is Masala Mix. It is annual. This is the second year in a row. And the idea behind it is to have Millwood's residents express their experiences living here in Millwoods, the cultural hub of Alberta, through art. Therefore, we have visual art all over the place. As you can see, paintings, drawings, henna. There's going to be workshops as well. My co-host who just ran off the stage, Nestor, he's going to be teaching juggling in a workshop, while live music will be played by a band whose name I'm not going to tell y'all yet, because we're going to boogie in just a moment. However, I am about to introduce to you one poet, if that's what I could call her, who really touched my soul in the last show that we did with Imagination Miscellany. Her name is Sissy Thiessen. She's a Treaty 6 Cree and Mennonite woman born in Edmonton, raised in the rural areas outside of Edmonton. Self-acclaimed master of living in two worlds. She's gained a unique perspective as a biracial, queer, indigenous woman living with mental illness in Edmonton. She's been using the written word to educate and mobilize people since childhood, and is the winner of the 2010 Diana Cardinal Award for Community Enrichment, and is the 2011 Associate Collegiate Award nominee for her work advocating for minority groups in journalism school. I should know to keep my life like this, huh? She currently works as a youth leadership program facilitator, working to empower Indigenous young women. She originally lived in a small town before her family moved to Millwoods, where she actually did her junior high and her high school. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give a warm Millwoods welcome for Sissy Thiessen.
Hello everyone. Well, that was long-winded. I'm sorry about that. So I spent my young teenagehood here in the Millbourne Mall area. Can I please get like a shout out if you've ever lived somewhere that had Millbourne Road in the title? Millbourne Road, anyone? Whatever, that's okay. That's cool. So I spent a lot of my so I actually grew up in the country. This is important, what I'm about to tell you. So I'm a spoken word poet, and I spent my childhood outside of Edmonton. And so I was actually considered like a dark person at the school that I attended. It was really a lot of people quite significantly less than me, and I didn't have much culture. And when I was a teenager and about to go to high school, I attended Holy Trinity in Millwoods. My mom moved us to Millbourne Road East, which is not far from here at all. And when I got through that journey, it was like a deep cultural and racial exploration of myself and other people. So I just wanted to give a shout out to this place. I'm so happy my mom moved us here because I met two of my favorite and best people in the whole entire world. Can you please give a round of applause to my two best friends? That's Danny right there. There's Danny. Yeah! And then my other friend's Rich. There he is, he's back there. Rich, wave. There he is. He was my next door neighbor down the street, and so like meeting his families from Africa like really opened my eyes to what is immigration to Canada like where do I come from, what's my culture? So meeting people like him really helped me explore that. So I have a first piece for you here about my time spent growing up outside the city in a very, I'm going to go ahead and say, whitewashed community. Please make my skin and hair lighter. I prayed with clenched fists and closed eyes. I didn't want to stand out any more than I already did in my family photos. I carry colors of the earth, while people with half of my blood, who I spent all of my life with, look like a sea of blonde and blue with the whitest beaches. Same with school. I am the only other kid that is darker than bleached sand, aside from the brother and sister from the other side of the Atlantic. There are 3 of us in 500 grains of tiny white stone. The kids already point at me and look at me with pointed eyes. They comb over me, asking me questions about how much money my parents make, how I live, and why do I look the way I do. You're so brown, they say. Not tan, not golden, brown, like mud or dirt. The last thing I'd want is for those blue and green pointed eyes to crack my code and solve my mystery. The mystery of why all my family are platinum blondes and how I'm what the Spanish would call morena. Why I spend 10 minutes in the sun and I turn golden brown like a marshmallow over a fire. Or like a native warrior standing on the hill looking out at the land. But I don't know that life. All I knew was that I saw some strange-looking men stomping around and making high-pitched yelling noises on TV one time. Their hair was dark as the night sky, like mine. Their eyes were brown, like the bear, like mine. I could hear a big thumping drum in the background, but it was one of the strangest things I had ever seen. Is that my culture? I asked my mother, my voice becoming a river flooded with worry. I did not want to be associated with something so different. I already was so different. Yes, she said, as certain as she could be, miles, years in segregation away from the scene. I wanted no part of it. I was always worried as a kid. I'm 19 years old. I've been dropped off at Native student housing and university residence. The canvas teepees found me on the school's website, and I took a chance. I look around and realize just how bright my face shines beside the other students. I have become lighter with age. My childhood prayer was answered. But now I feel like a full moon, bearing all I am to everyone, and I can't hide my face. For once, I am looking at a sea of deep brown eyes like mine, and they are all staring back at me. It is nothing like I imagined. Where are you from? Edmonton. No, what res you from? My biological, I don't really know. He's Alexis, okay, never mind. I was a mind reader in that moment. I don't look, sound, or talk like a native person, therefore I am not. But oh, were they ever beautiful. I remember the first time I went to a powwow and saw the dark braids gleaming with bare oil in the sunlight, the ends almost touching their knees with otter fur. The intricate, complicated, colorful beadwork that would take years to count all the pieces within. And their skin, dark like the Mother's Earth that lies comfortably beneath our feet and her heart. Please make my skin and hair darker, I prayed with clenched fists and closed eyes that first night in my new home, surrounded by my people. I wanted to carry the sun in my skin wherever I went. I wanted to be glowing with culture and tradition. I wanted to be indigenous. I wanted to be of the earth. I wanted to be who I already was. Thank you. Everything I do is long-winded, so thank you for your attention. I just wanted to point out a couple things about this place and give a shout out to Millbourne Mall for letting us do this thing here. Can we have a round of applause for Millbourne Mall? Yes, thank you. So some of my first jobs, there used to be a Rogers Video across the street there when I worked there, and you can rent videos, you too?
I don't remember.
You do remember the place, awesome. Yes, and Danny over there, her and I would, after high school, the Dairy Queen used to be down there. There also used to be a call center called Converges, where I collected people's money. That was also down there. And Zach's famous Donair Emporium. Zach is the name of the man who's always working there, his son. So his son technically owns the place, and he started owning it when he was 5 years old. Fun fact. Yeah, baller status as a toddler. So this next piece I have for you, my last one. So I'll tell you just a tiny little story. My first day of high school at Holy Trinity Catholic School. I'm just going to be real with you. I had never heard of the Philippines. I did not know what that was, where it was, what the people looked like, nothing. So my first day, and there was like, 50% of that school is Filipino. And I asked somebody, "Are you Chinese?" And she happened to be the nicest, most gracious person ever, and I still thank her to this day for being the nicest person ever. And she educated me. She didn't judge me, she didn't laugh at me. She's like, "Oh, I'm from the Philippines. I don't know where those are." She told me all about it. So then I really had to open my eyes to like, people's journeys to coming here. Like, where is everybody coming from? And one day I just sort of woke up and I wrote this because, in my opinion, when I first started learning, these people are coming from the Philippines and they're islands and it's hot and beautiful, really? That's amazing. And like people who come here are coming from really beautiful places. And it's not, I don't want to use the word ignorant, but this was just like one of my viewpoints when I first started learning, like why would you go from somewhere that's beautiful and warm to here? So I wrote something about it. People move from warm places to the greatest, whitest north. They left their homes of sunshine, sand, plentiful fruit, ocean breezes, and warm, swimmable water to come to a place where the frozen wind blows through your skin and ice freezes your fingers 6 months out of the year. Most years, besides this one. Where driving in traffic becomes a dangerous game of slip and slide, and running on sidewalks is a death wish. This is a place where pebbles are sprinkled on flat surfaces to keep feet from slipping. But these sharp little rocks sting like a snake bite once they're in your leg from trying to go for one of these runs of death. They trade their longboards for winter tires, their ocean breezes for crystallized winds, their sarongs for ski pants, their sand for snow, their sun for frost, their baskets for shovels, and their water for ice, on purpose. So I definitely understand now why people come here, where they're coming from, but that's just something I'm just like, what? Why? I understand it now, and I just want to say a very big welcome to everyone, and thank you for educating someone like me who didn't have that knowledge before I came and moved to Millwood, so thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, put your hands together for Sissy. Is Millwood feeling good today? Okay, I see dude in the green jacket. Oh, don't hide. It's all good. It's okay. Now, this is the part where we do something that apparently is common to Millwoods. In each different household, it happens different ways. And that is called boogieing, dancing. The way you know that you're in Millwoods is that from the time you get to a certain area, you hear the music change. That's how you know you're in a different part of Edmonton. Because you come downtown to Edmonton, you hear your hip hop, you hear your R&B, perhaps your Power 107, your Hot 97, whatever other sevens on the radio at the time. But as soon as you come to Millwoods, you start hearing that East Indian, that Middle Eastern, that African music, and that's how you know. Before I get to the jamming, however, I'm going to pass the mic over to my co-host, Nestor, who will introduce some of our artists to you. Go ahead, brother.
Hello. Hi. I'm here with Rosino Machinsky. Who will tell us a bit about our art. Go.
I'm an art teacher here at Millwood. I've taught here for the last decade. I've had the opportunity to work with kids of all sorts of different ethnic backgrounds, which has been fantastic. It's been a really wonderful
Thank you. Where did we go? Okay. Next we have Joseph.
Hi friends, my name is Joseph and I'm from India, from Kerala state. When I was very young, I started drawing, especially the cartoons and the caricatures, especially the political cartoons. And there was another issue. I was not able to recognize the proper color. And later on we figured that I have color blindness. And the doctor suggested better you don't do anything related to the color. So it was a big challenge for me to do the color paintings and all. So I was doing black and white cartoons and caricatures for a long period of time. Then one day my wife told me, if you are not doing the color, nobody is going to appreciate you. Then I thought, yeah, that's a challenge. Now two people, two persons told me I cannot do color, so I have to do it. So I pushed myself to learn how to do the color. And now I'm very comfortable with doing color paintings and color portraits and even the caricatures in color now. And this is my second exhibition here in Masala Mix. Last year I got a chance and I was here. So I saw a few other people, they came last year also here. So it's very nice to be here. And I'm thanking everybody who organized this one to give me a chance to display my paintings here. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Kelsey and Joseph. All right, so next comes me, and I'm going to be teaching a juggling workshop for anybody who's ever wanted to learn. It's a lot easier than you think it is. So feel free to join me here in the middle of the square. There's also another art workshop for kids that are over the age of 10, or anything that's over the age of 10, where you can learn to paint with gas. So yeah, come along.
And up next,
I'm not doing it on the mic, I'm grabbing myself right now. Yes,
Ladies and gentlemen, the J. Percy Page Band. Will McCarthy, which one isn't here? I forgot which one that didn't come. Was it Yaya? Richard? No, but I mean... Okay. We have Will McCartney, who's on electric and acoustic guitars. We have Wania Gibran, who's going to be singing. We have Richard Coos, a colleague of mine, who will be putting bass into place. And we have Kaho Akashima, who's going to be playing drums. They're band members that graduated from J. Percy Page High School. They met right here in the cultural hub of Alberta, Millwoods. And the community of Millwoods united them. They share a mutual love for blues, jazz, rock, and some of their influences are Bob Dylan, Led Zeppelin, B.B. King, Eric Clapton, and more. They believe that their diversity contributes to their unique style and compositions. In their own words, well, if it's in their own words, they should be saying it, but we work together to sustain appreciation for good music in our community. The J. Percy Page Band is participating for the second year and are gonna rock your socks off. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the J. Percy Page Band.
Check, check. Check, check. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see you all out here. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our band again. Our host did a fantastic job, but to kind of reintroduce you to our band, I'll introduce all of our instrument players over here. We all started at J. Percy Page, with the exception of Richard, who's very supportive of us and is filling in for our bass player that's missing, but he's fantastic, so thanks to Richard for that. So we all we were all in J. Percy Page, and the drummer Kaho and Will on the guitar, they're still at Page. I've graduated, but to give you a brief introduction of us, we came together at Page, all of us coming from different backgrounds, coming together for our love of music, our love for blues, jazz, and we'd all just sit down, jam, and come out with this amazing music. So we'll be doing a couple songs for you tonight, but before we begin, I'd like to introduce our instrument players. We've got Will on the guitar. That is Will. We have Kaho on the drums. Thanks for that, Kaho. And of course, we have Richard on our bass guitar. Nice. And I am Wanya, and I'm going to be your vocalist for the day. And let's get into it. The first song that we're doing for you is one of the first songs we ever wrote together, and we call it Spaces. I hope you enjoy the tune. It's a really fun one. Be sure to join in, clap, dance, whatever you like to do, all right? thank you very much. That was a little glimpse of what we do with our love of blues, jazz, rock, that kind of stuff. That was the first song we ever wrote as a group.